Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We do a quick recap every week of what's going on in space, and today we'll start a brand new year, 2020. Our first item is big space milestones that are expected to be accomplished here in this year of 2020. First, we have commercial crew coming to fruition. It looks like both Boeing and SpaceX will fly commercial crew missions with astronauts aboard this year. We will see several missions headed to Mars this year, taking advantage of the good launch window, including Mars 2020. We're going to see a lot of launches of SpaceX Starlink satellites. Over 20 launches are expected, which should deploy over 1,200 satellites in addition to the satellites that are already on station. So we should see the beginnings this year of an operational Starlink constellation. China plans to send a sample return mission to the moon, and we expect to see suborbital tourism flights by both Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin. Last year, India attempted a lunar mission that included an orbiter and a lander. While the orbiter worked well, the lander malfunctioned, did not work right. And they've announced that they're going to try again this year. It's been a long time since this has been done by anyone, over 40 years since we've had a lunar sample return, and only the United States and the Soviet Union have ever accomplished it. There was a news piece about China's main launch contractor that they plan over 40 space launches in 2020. This is CASC, the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. Some of the things they plan to do are test 3 new launch vehicles. They want to send a mission to Mars. They want to do a lunar sample return mission. Last year, they launched 27 rockets with 66 satellites, so they're clearly highly accomplished. And quite interesting, they're working on a reusable rocket, the Long March 8. Elon Musk made an interesting announcement that we could see a first test flight of the Starship as early as April. Right now, most of the Starship development is being done in Texas, and Mr. Musk envisions a series of 20 prototypes, and he thinks that the first operational flight of the Starship could happen in 2021 or 2022. China has a solar sail satellite in orbit, and it is performing well. It's verified several technologies up in orbit. It was designed by the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and while solar sail propulsion has been a science fiction concept for a very long time, the first real-world launch of a solar sail satellite didn't happen until 2001. We had a Falcon 9 launch of the Starlink cluster. The next installation of 60 satellites were launched. The launch went fine. The satellites are up in orbit. The significance really is that this makes SpaceX the world's top satellite operator. They have the biggest satellite fleet up in space. Last, there was an interesting op-ed in Space News, and the topic was current plans to replace our existing fleet of Minuteman intercontinental ballistic missiles with a new fleet at a cost of $85 billion. And the main thrust of the article is that we would be better served by making an equivalent investment in learning how to harvest the space resources of our solar system. And he says that we have a group of Ohio-class nuclear missile submarines that are almost undetectable, and that those submarines carry about 2,700 nuclear warheads. And he feels like this is an adequate deterrent to any nation state that wants to attack the United States. So I urge you to take a look at that op-ed piece. It's in Space News. That's all I have for this week. Hope you enjoyed our show, and we'll see you in a week or so covering the second week of 2020. Take care.